It's a quick fix.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Fix the Family. My name is Raylan Alamo and we are bringing you truth without compromise for the family. A little unplugged edition today on location. Quick fix for you, blog edition at the Latin Mass Chapel of the Blessed Sacrament here in South Louisiana on June 15, 2015, the Feast of St. William, the name day of our producer here on the other side of the camera. What we want to consider this evening is why are Catholic marriages failing so profusely and so predominantly. And we might say, well, why do we even consider that? Something is wrong if we don't think about that, if we don't think what's possibly wrong. Because if we have the one true faith, we have the fullness of the truth in the Catholic faith, if we have the sacraments and the power of the graces that come from the sacraments, then pretty much our marriages should be bulletproof, and apparently they're not. And you know, this is something different from these legal unions that we have in this secular unions. This is the sacrament of holy matrimony, which should be permanent, and it's not being carried out that way. We need to find out why. And I would say that the number one reason, or the underlying reason behind it all, is that we are being trained to act in an unnatural way throughout our lives, and of course within our relationships, within our marriages. Men are acting like women, women are acting like men. And that's got to stop in order for us to begin to succeed. And so let's look at both of them. You know, men aren't being men, and that's pretty obvious, that's pretty common. And I'm going to keep posting up some links. I had this one, it was from a priest who did a talk called How to Raise a Man. And I'm going to put that link up again on the Facebook page, as well as on our blog page on the website, fixthefamily.com. And but Father says in there that you know, these boys aren't being raised to be men. They have a lot of softness to them, and for one, you know, they're often being raised by women, so there's no good role model there. But even the role model within the family often is not a manly man. He calls it effeminacy, and he goes on through a great deal of what effeminacy is all about, and the softness of men. You know, and we have challenges here because we have technology, and so things come so easy for us, and there aren't a whole lot of physical jobs anymore. So we have to find some kind of other way to build a toughness into ourselves and into our sons. Every Catholic man should look at that, listen to that talk, and have their teenage and young adult sons listen to it as well. We should have toughness within us. And the reason that's not happening is because when any man starts to act in a masculine way, he's suppressed. He is denied his natural inclination. So he has to go against his nature unless he wants to really be a man and stand his ground and carry himself out the way God made him to be. Another big problem, another big reason for this lack of masculinity is the pandemic problem of the use of pornography and thereby resulting masturbation. And Father talks about it in that talk, and it's chastity is toughness. Chastity is hard. Being unchaste, giving into these immoral things, creates a weakness in men. That's why you'll never see a feminist come out against the production of pornography. Now, men have started it and are making tons of money off of it. But there's not going to be any feminists who are going to say, you know, how degrading it is to women and how much it objectifies women. Because why? Because it makes men weak. And that's what they want. They want weakness in men and promotion of women, strengthening of women, which is opposite of what God wants. In 3 Marks of Manhood, G.C. Dillsaver, he talks about this impurity a bit here, and I just wanted to read a little because he brings out some good points on page 102. Although pornographic and a modest society degrades authentically feminine women, it diabolically empowers the unchaste and worldly women, especially when that society worships feminine sexuality. Thus, in a society that caters to male lust, it is the men that are weakened and shamed. So you see, men are being weakened by this. Men aren't being men anymore because of this very reason. Pornography and immodesty degrade men, for they make light of and toy with the powers of his manhood. The Christian patriarch must view immodest and pornographic sites and talk as outrageous affronts to his manhood. How do we fix that? How do we, for one, there's a problem in the heart there, because Christ says, if you commit adultery, but if you look at woman in a lustful way, you've committed adultery in the heart. So we need what's the problem in the heart there? And toward that, we need to create some good habits. Custody of the eyes, he talks about on 103. It is most crucial and fundamental for a man to develop custody of the eyes, for without it he will never acquire custody of his heart. Custody of the eyes must be developed to the degree that it entails a near habitual or semi-automatic averting of the eyes. It becomes a habit. It's an automatic habit. Train. That is, one that at least avoids second glances when faced with images that affront a man's purity. Therefore, exclusivity of heart must be inculcated from the very earliest of ages. A good aid in that. Most fundamentally, a Catholic boy and man should develop a deep devotion to the Blessed Mother as he approaches adolescence. It is the Queen of Heaven that is rightly his first great love. Married men, how about married men? Purity is manifested specifically in his exclusive love and devotion to his wife. Exclusivity. It is from this very spiritual, ascetical, even mystical, exclusive marital devotion to his wife that flows from the Christian patriarchy's charism. And watch what the resulting is. If we are really exclusively devoted to our wife, the charism and vision for leading his family. It starts in the marriage and it helps us to lead the rest of the family. Indeed, the efficacy of patriarchal leadership is proportionate to the exclusivity of the patriarchal devotion. Okay, so that's the men. We need to we need to be men ourselves, show a good example, and inculcate that into our sons of being masculine, hard, tough males, truly masculine guys and men. And look, the society is not going to like that, and that's why homeschooling is so important. When we send them out to school, that's not going to be encouraged in a government or Catholic school. We just look at it and see it's not happening. Now, but even more so with the women aren't being women. Just a fundamental day-to-day life change needs to happen more so with women than with men, because men just need to continue on what they're doing. They just need to do it better and get away from all the foolishness and the immorality. They need to get to work hard, and do their job so that their wives don't have to work. But women are being trained to work and not be mothers. If they have a few kids, they get in the way of the job. So it's, and as far as, what is the problem with marriage? Most people, well, if we look back in let's say the 80s or so, the big push there was saying, well, there's not enough communication. We need to get them communicating, and you think these men of generation past used to be great communicators with their wives. But no, I don't have a problem with communication. I think it's a great thing. Women are better at it. But how about, now the last couple decades, we're starting to own up to the idea of no grace in our marriages. That with the use of contraception is so prevalent, and it's mortal sin, and brings robs our marriages of grace, and so then they're not able to survive, and the subsequent sterilization that goes along with that. But how closely that is linked to the mother in the home working. She's not home because she's out working. She has to, in order to keep working, not have any more kids, and to be able to progress in her job. I'm going to put this link up too. Here's an article. It's a couple of years old, from 2013, but very good. Makes the point that I've been making quite often. Young men are giving up on marriage, saying women aren't women anymore. And often it's blamed on men as to why, why they're not getting married, or, why the marriages fall apart. They say, where have all the good men gone? And Suzanne Vinkner points out that for the first time in U.S. history, there's more women, or women in the workforce outnumber the men. Feminism is pushing the men, out of their traditional role of breadwinner, protector, and provider of the family. And divorce laws are making it dangerously precarious financial prospect for men to cut loose from their marriages. So men are just saying, this isn't a good deal for us anymore. So they're not going into marriage. And when she would ask these men why, they say, women aren't women anymore. And I've had a number of people contact us through various means saying they're going to marry somebody from another culture, Mexico, Philippines, where they aren't so, the feminist influence isn't so great, and they're more traditional women. Men are being tired of being saddled with the cause of, if the women aren't happy, it's the men's fault. But in this all, it's the women who lose, she says. The fact is, women need men's linear careers. They need to pick up the slack of the office so that they can lead the balanced life that they seek. And so, you see, the women are looking at it not from a money-making standpoint. They just want something fulfilling to do, but they also want to be mothers, and so they want this balanced life. And look, I think what my wife as a mother and wife is more important than what I do. I do what I do so that she can do what she has to do, which is a more important thing of raising our children who have immortal souls. That's the important thing that has to be done. What they ought to be doing to be truly feminine women is being taught motherhood and becoming mothers themselves within marriages. They're the ones that have to make the big changes. So here's the thing, what needs to happen is that we need to start mother and father in the home, husband and wife in the home, need to start setting a better example of those distinct masculine and feminine roles. I encourage you to go to our currently running YouTube series on the genius of masculine and feminine genius, the distinction between masculinity and femininity that has to become more profound within our families, inculcating that into our very own children, and not worrying about trying to conform to the world, being willing to be different, having that courage. Dads, it's going to be incumbent upon us to express that courage for them to be different, because if we go the way of the world, we're going to get the results of what the world is. So we have to start doing things different. That's going to be the solution to a lot of problems within a lot of marriages. We want our children's marriages to be good and to be strong, to stay together for the good of all the children involved. That's it for today with our quick fix here at Fix the Family. Come back and see us. God bless you.